What are you doing?
Just kind of dry run, practicing how, instead of dragging the rod, I'm going to just basically lower it, and with the angle, that's going to let the rod walk along as it melts. So just kind of, one leg I picked up.
Oh, cool.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So I've been watching a lot of welding videos on YouTube, and then I actually found an online course. And so my question is, can I improve my welding through online welding instruction? So let's get into it and check it out. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different classes, but the one I did, it took me about a week to complete it, and I think I learned a lot. So let's get into this. So what I've got is a piece of plate steel, and what I'm going to do today is attempt to run beads both in the flat configuration, which I learned is 1F, and then horizontally with the plate sitting up, which is the 2F, and then finally I'm going to run vertical beads on this piece of plate. So I've got this cleaned off. I'm using 7018 rod, it's 3/32, and I've got my machine, which is the titanium stick 225, set on 95 amps. The rods I'm using are also the Vulcan rods, and I've got that set on 95 amps. These rods operate on DC positive electrode between 70 and 120 amps, or they'll work on AC. But my AC experience wasn't so great so far. All right, so I've done some dry runs. We're getting ready to strike the arc. Eyeballs. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's the best bead I've laid down so far. Let's knock the slag off. That bead, I'm very happy with that, and I guarantee you that is the best bead that I've laid down since I started my little hobbyist welding journey about a month ago. So that's very straight, which I put a chalk line along there and followed it. Now what I'll do is just follow these other beads in up against it. It looks to me like my speed was kind of good. There's a spot where it kind of got a little thin, which it might have been me moving too quick. But the other thing is it looks like it's a little bit raised up. So I turned the voltage up just a smidge. So I'm running at 100 amps now. And that welder's running on 240. So let's try another bead. Let's try our next pass. Eyeballs. Okay, that was going good. I got out of position. So looking at this one, I turned up the amperage, and that made the bead a lot bigger. But so you can see where I stopped, and I actually ran out of rod and got out of position right there. So this bead still looks pretty good. Actually, I'd say it looks better than the first bead, but it kind of, hid the first bead. It kind of covered it 100%, which wasn't what I was looking for, but that's why we're learning. So let's try the next one. Okay, so this will be our third bead. Eyeballs. Okay, so I got a little off track on that one, and pretty much what I did was I put a cap on our 7018, but you know, for the fact that it's not exactly what I was trying to do, it looked pretty darn good. So I turned my helmet down just a little bit. I couldn't quite see that bead that I was following, so now I've got it. We'll try some more.
Eyeball. All right, so now I'm going to try and run a bead right along the bottom edge of this one. It's fairly straight. These welds are looking pretty good, but I'm having a little trouble with my vision still. All right, eyeball. Okay, that felt a lot better. Let's see how it looks.
All right, well at this point, I think I'm just maybe going too slow because my weld that runs right along the other weld just kind of bleeds over and obliterates the first weld. But these welds are looking better than anything I've done before, so I think that online instruction did help. So let's play around with this a little bit more, and then I'm going to switch to try something I've never done before, which is the horizontal welds and then vertical up.
Okay, so that's what these are supposed to finally look like. So regardless of online instruction, you got to have hands-on time. That can curve like that, which I turned my helmet back up a little bit and I kind of lost my vision.
Okay, well I just ran another bead and I was real happy with that one. It's very consistent and it, like I said, flowed real well, and I went straight, I was able to see. So I'm going to chip the slag off this. Okay, that, I mean, to me, that looks good. That's, get the grinder. Okay, I really couldn't be happier with that weld. I'm pretty, not impressed necessarily, but I'm very happy. I think that these welds, all of them, have definitely been elevated since doing the online class. And that weld right there, I want to say, I mean, every couple welds, it's like, man, that's the best weld I've ever done in my life. So I like it. All right, so I'm going to run another bead just along that one, and we'll see what it looks like. Got another good bead. I forgot to put my respirator on there, and it was kind of shocking, like, what does that smell? Wear your respirator, folks.
Okay, it's not that I would know a lot about them. That seems pretty good to me.
It's a lot better than anything you've seen that I've done before, isn't it?
Yeah, they look good.
These are, like I said, they're not too high. Don't have undercut that I can tell. Like I said, this one down here, there's a little, like a slag inclusion maybe or something. But that obviously is where I switched. But man, these are looking really good. And I think I've got, by letting the rod just melt into it instead of trying to drag along. Like I said, I don't want to give away all the secrets that I learned on the class, because I don't want the guy that produced that class getting me for telling his secrets, but I paid $60 for it. But I think it's definitely well worth it.
So what are you doing now?
Okay, so I'm going to do something I've never tried before, and that's welding horizontally. So I'm using my fixture clamps to hold this plate up, and this plate's still hot, so I use my gloves here too. But I'll clamp this down and see if we can do some horizontal welding, and then if we get that going, we'll try our luck at vertical. Because I've got a project coming up that I've actually got a lot of horizontal and a lot of vertical welds to do. So that was kind of the reason I bought the online training, was to get my confidence and knowledge up a little bit. Now I just got to work on my practice. All right, we're going to try something new. This is the first time I've ever done a horizontal weld. But what I'm going to do is start here, and then by pushing forward, should be able to run this bead. So this is where I'll end. So I think I'll be all right. And I'm basically putting it at about a 10-degree down, and then my same like 30-degree travel angle. So let's try it out.
Well, that was interesting. Actually kind of fun.
It seemed like the rod melted away a lot quicker going horizontal. And you can see some of it dropped off. So gravity, they claim, there's no escaping it. So a lot of those drops are slag. I think for a very first attempt ever, that's not too bad. Let me get the wire brush. Okay, so that's definitely not great, but for a first time ever doing that, I don't think it's bad.
Okay, so that weld there for a first attempt, not bad. A little bit ugly. We've got 3 more lines, so we'll try those next. Well, I'd say that's 100% better. So that looks pretty good. There was a divot in that metal, so it went in a little farther there. But I kind of was struggling around here. About here, I got it figured out, I think, and went pretty good. Definitely 100% better than that one. So let's try these other 2. Okay, and for some reason, I didn't have much vision on that one. And you can see I went down off the line. That's kind of weird, but the weld looks okay. Okay, let's give this line a try and see how we do it. So this will be our 4th pass. That weld actually looks really good, but I got offline and I realized it, so I just stopped. That was pretty darn good to me. And it stayed on the line. Well, that's definitely the best horizontal weld I've done so far.
And I was able to see good too. So I like that. Let's make sure this is off. It is, okay. So that was pretty darn good. For me anyway. Like I said, that's the 1, 2, 3, that's the 4th horizontal weld I've ever done. And I wouldn't be afraid to try and glue something together with that. All right, so we did some horizontal welds. I'm gonna try something really crazy and try this vertical weld now. And we'll try a few of those. But I know you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. And so we'll see how that goes.
Ooh, I blew a hole right in it. Well, this is the first vertical weld I've ever tried, and I would say that is a failure.
Unfortunately, I missed the footage.
Okay, so I'm going to try and do this line and see if we have any better luck. So I'm going to turn the camera on. Oh, ball. Well, it's a vertical weld. We'll see what it looks like when I scrape the stuff off of it. Okay, I would not trust that weld for anything, but we're going to keep practicing and see if we can get better. I'm going way too slow, and I don't understand that because I've not had to go that fast on any of these others. All ball. Well, I think that looks maybe a little better.
Well, it didn't melt a hole in it.
Oh, you're going to stick with that, are you?
Just observation.
Okay, let's try one more of these just for the heck of it. Eyeball. Maybe a little better. I think I got about a 1/2 inch there. It looks pretty good.
Okay, so that's going to conclude my welding practice for today. And I've got 1F, 2F, and 3F over here. The 1F I think looks pretty darn good. It's better than I've ever done. The 2F I've never tried to do, and it doesn't look too bad. The fourth one looks a whole lot better than the first one. The 3F over here is pretty horrible. But like I said, I've never even tried that, so it's not too bad. Here's this 1F, and that's what I've done the most of and had done some. This was the first bead. This was the last bead, and that bead looks really good in my opinion. The 2F over here, like I said, again, first bead, not that good. This was the second one. I came up here for the third one and got offline. I couldn't see, but then look at this third one. To me, that's passable, so I like it. Now the 3F over here, not so good. Blew a hole in the first one. The second one almost blew a hole in it. The third one had all these globs, like it almost looks like it was tack welds stacked on top of each other. There's a little section in this third one that's starting to look pretty good. So it's zigzaggy, that's not good. But overall, I'm impressed. So I'm sure if you've logged on to Facebook and searched anything even remotely welding related, you've seen these. Okay, so the program that I bought was called One Day Welder. And there are many out there that are like it. But this one was $60, so I thought the price was right, and I really didn't have anything much to lose. And honestly, for somebody like me, that I went out to Harbor Freight and bought a welder, and I really never concentrated on trying to learn before I had gotten introduced to it in shop class back in high school. But for me, the information that he gave us, which was a lot to do with safety, a lot to do with the processes, and then how to practice, honestly, it helped my welding a bunch, and it was definitely worth the $60 admission. So if you're like me, you might want to check it out. The other videos that I've watched a lot of Tim Welds, a lot of the Tulsa Welding Academy videos. So like I said, one of the points is you can find a lot of information on the internet, but I did like the way that One Day Welder put it all together in a concise package. So for me, like I said, it's worth it. If you're a better welder than me already, it may not be, but it's something to check out. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. It definitely helps the channel. And we invite you to subscribe to see more. I will continue with my welding practice because I've got 2 jobs already lined up, non-paying jobs. These are for myself. But I want to be able to weld better than this. And I think the basics and information that I gained through One Day Welder are going to help me along my journey. Bottom line, I think One Day Welder helped me, and I hope it can help you too if you check it out. Have a great day and be safe.